Coyote, I'm very happy you asked this question, and I'll tell you why. If you remember, I had some interviews with you in the run-up to the elections. I'm sure Bukola was there too. And I think off stage, you were asking me, I think it was live, you asked me a question of the candidates, who will I choose among the three leading candidates? President Bola Tinubu, not president then, Alhaji Atiku, and Peter Obi. And I posed some questions back to you to answer the question. I said, I asked myself a simple question. At this point in Nigerian democracy and life, who, as a Nigerian, am I looking for to govern me? I said, number one, I want somebody who can take bold decisions, who can make bold policies that we badly need in the country. Subsidy is one of them. The issue of dollar, the issue of foreign exchange is one of them, and so many others. I said, that's number one. And I said, number two, I'm looking for somebody that when political pressures will come to that person in office, the person will have the gravitas, will have the ability, will have the courage to be able to face those challenges head on and move on. And I did say that. And I said the third one for me is who among the three has been most consistent, and I broke everything down to you. And I'm happy one of your guys, I think the gentleman from the academia who you had on paper review said something. I think it was him that said that this morning, which I said then, that of all the three persons, it's only Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu who has been consistent in a single party. From this to ACN, from ACN to APC, he has never jumped ship. That is consistency as far as I'm concerned, no matter what anybody says. In terms of boldness, I think whether you like him or not, whether you like his policies or not, is exerts some courage, which Ben Bruce spoke to, in terms of taking some bold decisions and making some bold policies. These are policies and decisions that people who are not very courageous, who are not very bold, who probably do not actually genuinely have the interest of their country at heart. And make no mistake, I'm not saying Professor Asiwaju is an angel, far from it. There are no angels among men. But I'm saying, as far as politics is concerned, he has justified that kind of confidence I expressed on television then, that is bold, is courageous, and we need bold, courageous leaders in Nigeria today. So when you look at people decamping, and in terms of swaying, now you don't even need anybody to sweet talk you to sway you. And that is the point. I might belong to PDP today or Labour Party or APC or whatever, but nothing stops me if I'm looking at the opposition, I'm looking at the other party, and I'm thinking, this person in the other party is doing what I would have been supporting him to do if I were in his party. But I'm in the opposition. He might not listen to me, or he might think, and because of the kind of policies we play in Nigeria anyway, which is almost zero-sum, I might be thinking, you know what? I'm going to join this person to be able. So at the end of the day, I'm looking at how can I join forces with him to build a stronger Nigeria. So don't be surprised that, and I remember I told somebody a few months ago, I still remember a couple of people, I said, look, many governors are going to join Asiwaju. Sorry, are going to join the APC, that is Asiwaju's party. And the person said, why? I said, look, for me, it's very simple. If you are genuine as a governor, you're leading a state, and you're beginning to see that if you're in a position wherever you are in, and you see that, look, whoever is in power, you may not like him, but you like his policies, and you like his principles, you like his decisions, and you do an assessment and you think, you know what, if I join forces with this person, we are likely to build a stronger country for the future generations of my children and children. Why wouldn't I support him? So I'm not surprised. Make no mistake. In terms of economies, even international bodies are beginning to pay attention to Nigeria, that we are making some moves now, some positive. And I said it again on one of your programs that you invited me to. I said, look, we are very impatient in Nigeria. Reforms are hard. Make no mistake. They are hard for people to swallow because as Nigerians, we have been living well above our means. At a point in time, we were importing toothpicks into Nigeria, and everybody who had 500,000 naira wanted to import a second-hand car from overseas. We've forgotten that for every toothpick you imported into this country, for every second-hand car you imported into this country, somebody had to pay for it. Eventually, the government will have to pay for it. People who had no business with dollars, they were importing dollars. They were hoarding dollars in those days. So we needed all these things to be dealt with by somebody who is courageous and not easily distracted. But there's so much cacophony of noises going on in the last few by people who I've been on there. I'm just speaking my mind. People who are losers at the end of the day, people who have been there, who have been in government positions and who have destroyed the country to this point, and they've been making noise and be parading themselves as if they are angels. So the truth is, at the end of the day, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president of Nigeria, does not even need to speak to anybody to sway. If you love Nigeria, if you genuinely love this country, and you understand that when we embark on reforms, you don't get the reforms of a government in just 1 year or even 1 year. Let me be honest with you. All the reforms that the president administration is doing today, we may not begin to even see the result until the next 2-3 years. It's a fact. President Trump came to America. He inherited reforms put in place by Obama. Now they begin to reap that. But the credit goes to President Trump. Reforms are not something you do today, get a result tomorrow. You cannot malign a country for almost 50 or 60 years. You cannot destroy a country projectively for almost 50 years. And then suddenly you think a government will come and fix it in 4 years. It doesn't work like that. The best, I think, APC government can do today, and which I think is trying to do, is to lay a solid foundation for a future, solid and prosperous Nigeria that other governments can come and build upon. So the focus should be who comes next. Because we have 4 years in democracy. If APC gets a second term, you have at least maximum of 8 years. But at the end of the day, what can that actually do? It's at best lay some serious foundations in terms of the infrastructural development of the country, instead of realigning the economy and reorientating ourselves as a people, to begin to think more positively about our country and to begin to see that, all these reforms are necessary. They are going to bite in the meantime, but in the long term, we are going to have the dividends of them.
Well,